Raiden is a vertically scrolling shooter, originally released in arcades in 1990. The 16-bit ports that followed added Trad to the title, but Raiden Trad is really a port of the arcade game, nothing more. This Sega Genesis version hit North American shores in 1991. Per usual, Earth is under attack from an alien species, and there's just a single hope for all of humanity. In this case, it's the Raiden Supersonic Attack Fighter. Being an early shmup, Raiden is rather straightforward and devoid of many gimmicks. There are just two main weapons. The Vulcan Cannon is the default and shoots normal-looking shots. The laser shoots blasts of blue lasers. When you defeat certain enemies, a red or blue icon will float around the screen. Red represents the Vulcan Cannon and blue the laser. The icon will change colors back and forth every few seconds. If you are equipped with the Vulcan Cannon and pick up a red icon, the power of the Vulcan Cannon will be increased by 1. Your weapons can be leveled up 8 times. Generally, the Vulcan Cannon is a weaker weapon, but has a wider spread. The laser is more powerful, but much narrower. Most of the time I found the wider spread of the Vulcan Cannon to be far more advantageous, and I was always disappointed when I grabbed the blue power-up by mistake. Your second weapon is a missile. The M icon is the nuclear missile, which fires straight ahead. Collecting an H icon nets you a homing missile. The homing missile is less powerful than the nuclear missile, but seeks out enemies on its own. Like the regular shot, these can also be upgraded by continuing to nab the same lettered power-up. Rounding out Raiden's weapons is the bomb. You get 3 bombs per life, but more can be collected by defeating certain enemies or destroying specific crates. The bomb features a massive blast radius, wiping out everything on the screen, including enemy bullets, and lasts for a few seconds. This can be handy when you are overwhelmed with enemies or need help finishing off a boss. Raiden Trad features responsive controls without any lag, and this Genesis version thankfully features auto-fire. Raiden's hitbox is also fairly generous, allowing bullets to graze you without it registering a hit. Raiden for me has always been about the struggle. Your ship moves a touch too slow compared to the weapon arsenal of the alien enemies. However, with decent reaction time and plenty of memorization, the game is manageable, and for the most part, the challenge is fair. This challenge makes the game a ton of fun. There is one glaring issue with this port, however. In the Super Nintendo and Atari Jaguar versions of Raiden, when you die, you spawn right away. This is particularly helpful on bosses, where the game's difficulty exceeds my skill level. Respawning right away lets you spam bosses with bombs. In the Genesis version, you start back at the checkpoint. This makes the bosses extra difficult because you can't die and then spam them with a fresh supply of bombs. Depending on your skill level, this will either be a game breaker or no big deal. Graphically, Raiden for the Sega Genesis is below average. The biggest offender is the overall lack of detail and limited colors. Seriously, there are a ton of sections in this game that look no better than a typical NES game. The lackluster graphics do allow the game to run incredibly smooth, however. No matter how many bullets and enemies are on the screen, the Genesis hums along without any drama. The enemies themselves are generic, with the usual tanks, planes, and cannons. But what is nice is that they degrade after being hit. Tanks first lose their turrets and then explode on the second shot. Bosses will flash before they die. They're nice touches, but Raiden Trad hardly pushes the limits of the Genesis. The sound is another offender. Raiden features some absolutely classic compositions, and they are captured somewhat accurately here, but the instrument samples are lackluster, with plenty of Genesis twang and overall lacking depth. On the positive side, the explosions sound pretty good. Bigger enemies explode with some serious bass, and Raiden Trad will give your subwoofer a workout. As a whole, however, I can't help but feel disappointed. Despite the dated graphics and sound, especially compared to the best 16-bit shmups of the era, Raiden Trad is fun to play. The controls are responsive, and I do enjoy the simple nature of the power-ups. It's addicting enough, and you will want to play over and over. 3 out of 5.